Well, Nvidia, the last name of the Magnificent Seven stocks to report results, reports a beat for the third quarter as Wall Street digests earnings from the chip giant, and Yahoo Finance's Josh Schafer has the top takeaways from the Magnificent Seven stocks this earnings season. Josh.
Yeah, Josh, so we're going to take a look at how the Magnificent Seven performed this quarter and also include Nvidia, which just reported, of course, in that. One of the key takeaways, Josh, from this quarter for me was earnings growth has not been the problem for these stocks. Nvidia just beat on earnings estimates. That checks the boxes for all of the Magnificent Seven, having earnings coming in better than Wall Street had expected. That was largely expected, right? That's kind of been the trend here. Where the issue has sort of come in from a different perspective when you look at the stocks, Josh, has just been what stocks had rallied into the print. What stocks are proving how they're spending AI, right? So I'm looking at a 1 month here. So this kind of encapsulates some of the earnings move and a little bit of the Trump trade. I'm looking at you, Tesla. Not all of that was off earnings, right? But overall, when you look at the companies that rallied, look at maybe an Alphabet, the stock hadn't done that well going into the print. If I zoomed out a little bit further, it hadn't been a name that had been rallying through the fall, right? Then it gets a pop off of earnings. Okay, I can see how that plays out. You take a look at Meta. The bar was a little bit higher, quite candidly, right? Coming into earnings here, had this big move higher. Meta reports earnings and revenue that beat, but they're saying they're spending on AI and the market just doesn't quite love it. I think to some extent, you could argue you're seeing a little bit of a similar thing with Nvidia, right? Remember, when we zoom out on this chart, Josh, look over a year-to-date period.
195%.
Up almost 200%, right? So for it to be off 2% after hours right now, okay.
Right,
maybe,
red hot.
Maybe things are okay, right? And it's just not necessarily bringing in new buyers. But the one thing I wanted to point out specifically with what investors have been focused on, this is a chart from Goldman Sachs, it's all about the spend.
Yeah.
Look at how much these hyperscalers have been spending in CapEx, right? This also includes Oracle, I should know. We're talking about Mag 7. They grouped Oracle in here as a hyperscaler, so it's not all Mag 7. But that's been the question, and that will be the trend question moving forward, is what does this $231 billion turn into in 2025 in terms of sales and earnings?
These guys, I mean, they've been spending, Josh. I think a lot of times these CEOs just think I have to spend because if I don't, my rival is going to. And we've spoken to analysts about how long that AI spending is going to keep on for. At least some of them said they don't see a let up in the next 12 to 18 months.
And then you think about a company like Nvidia, right? Who's benefiting from that spend? That's why I put here Nvidia is still the leader. It's all going to Nvidia. But one thing, Josh, I wanted to highlight just from a stock move perspective, this is Nvidia's one-day price move the day after earnings. Right now, the stock is down. It would be the first time the stock has been down twice in a row since before the launch of that popular AI site, ChatGPT. So it'd be quite surprising to see the stock down again a second day tomorrow, second quarter in a row. Right now, it has kind of been incremental buyers come in at some point, so it'll be interesting to sort of watch that action tomorrow. But it does feel like, especially when you think about Nvidia's revenue right now, finally growing less than 100% year over year, it's starting to slow a little bit. And at what point does that not just immediately get more buyers as it falls is going to be a question, I think, to watch.
And now you've got the call coming up,
right.
So all attention, I mean, you're going to be hanging on every
Stock
word
moves a lot on the call.
Of Jensen Huang. I think key will be, what does he say about demand for Blackwell? Because that's the key question in terms of whether this growth can really continue.
And we're talking about still positive growth, but slowing growth, right? And that is the trend, I think, to watch going into 2025 with all 7 of these companies. Earnings are expected to grow, but not grow as much as the 493. Goldman Sachs translated that into what that means for price performance. So when you look here, Mag 7 have outperformed significantly over the last 2 years, right? Why is that? Their earnings have outperformed. When we spin it forward to 2025, earnings growth is supposed to come a lot closer. That leads to the narrowest outperformance, Goldman argues, over the last 7 years for the Mag 7. So that's a trend right now that strategists think is going to continue going into 2025 is Mag 7 have been growing. Maybe it slows down a little bit, and maybe we see this broadening of the rally.
So then I'm looking to the other 493.
You're looking to the other 493 and companies that are taking these Nvidia chips and using them, right, to monetize. Where is that sort of playing out in the market is where people feel like this AI story could go in 2025 instead of just constantly only talking about Nvidia and those other big companies.
Joshua, thank you. Appreciate it.